from the 1980s, people like us were struggling, were helping the people to struggle and to have their rights recognized. So in many of the states, there were some government resolutions also passed that regularized the land. Say, for example, in Gujarat, there was one 1972 resolution, and then in 1992 resolution that stated, that provided that so and so person was cultivating land before 1980, he or she should be, his or her rights would be recognized. But in Gujarat, we saw that most of the people who were cultivating, they didn't get they couldn't get the rights recognized. So there was a big movement. Means the people, the tribal people, and the people like us were, of course, had were struggling to get it. At that time, meanwhile, what happened that in 1995 there was a case in the Supreme Court. One Mr. Godavarman filed a public interest litigation in the Supreme Court against the illicit cutting that was taking place in the estate that was there, his own forefathers had nurtured. So Supreme Court took up this case. Not only that, the Supreme Court gave many orders regarding this. Supreme Court extended the scope of the this PIL and extended to all the states of India. So it was known as forest case, and it is already, it is now also, it is very much there in the Supreme Court. So in 2001, in November 2001, Amicus Curie, he filed an interlocutory application in this case that there are so many encroachers and that is very worrisome. So the Supreme Court just wanted to ask, wanted to know how much encroachment exists in 5 or 6 states. And the Supreme Court passed an order on that. Interestingly, taking a cue from this, the Ministry of Environment and Forests, what they did, they passed an order. They just wrote out a circular to all the states, not only 5 to 6 states, but to all the states, asking the state governments to remove all the encroachments in their respective states within 3 months. So this order was passed, this circular was brought out in on 3rd May 2002, and they gave the timeline of that before 30th September they have to remove all the encroachments, and it happened also in Maharashtra, in Odisha, in Assam. Many of these forest departments, they started removing these encroachments. They started raising the houses also with the help of elephants also. So at that time there was very much hue and cry, and many people like us, they stated, means for us it was enough, enough was enough. So we got together and then this campaign for survival and dignity was born. That is a organization. It is a loose organization. Umbrella means it's an umbrella organization in which most of the organizations and grassroots activists and individuals who were working on this issue, tribals' rights, they joined this campaign. We were also part of that, and then we lobbied and we campaigned for this. We met the Prime Minister at that time was Manmohan Singh, and Manmohan Singh suggested that we should have a statute. I'm not going into the details of the history why he suggested this, because in the time of Vajpayee government, there was the Ministry of Environment and Forest. They had brought out one circular to regularize this thing, but the Supreme Court should shoot it down that because of this is a election gimmick, and so it is no longer, it should not be valid. So Manmohan Singh himself suggested that there should be a statute, and the nodal agency should not be the Environment and Forest Ministry, but it should be the Tribal Ministry. And at that time, um, this the seeds were sown in this meeting with the Prime Minister. He also suggested that some of the people from campaign also should be a part of this drafting process, and it was, I think it was very good, because this is the first statute, this is the first act which has recognized the role of the Gram Sabha. Otherwise, what has happened in all of the acts, it is the officers, either from the revenue department or from the forest department, it is the officers who would decide who cultivates where and all these things, and they prepare a basic list of the people. Here, the whole situation was changed. It was the Gram Sabha which should initiate the process of inviting the claims, and then it is the Gram Sabha which decides, which examines and decides the claims of the individuals. So in that sense, this act was a very, I think, landmark act, and it was unprecedented. And this was the, I think it was the beginning of the drafting process, and it was the beginning of the act. So after, means we had to lobby with all the political parties and everything. Means they were the years of too much lobbying and campaigning, and everybody, means all the parties, because this act was passed unanimously in the parliament, and it was passed in 2006. So 1 year was lapsed before the rules were notified and the act came to be implemented. And in January 2008, the Forest Rights Act was notified, and it started, the implementation of the act was started.